In the village of Greendale lives everyone's favourite postman.
Hello, Amy.
Good morning, Pat.
Hello, welcome to Premier Scene. I'm Claire Bueno as we deliver to you the world premiere of Postman Pat, the movie.
You're the one auditions are coming to Greendale.
And he's about to hit the big time.
3, 2, lights.
I'm Simon Cowbell, and you know how to deliver.
So you're Postman Pat, what was that like?
I am Postman Pat. Can you believe my luck? What a great character to play. One of the most iconic, loved British characters there is. And the sweetest man you'll ever meet.
And the whole story really is very current with how you deal with sort of TV and reality TV and fame. So was that kind of interesting to look into?
Yeah, because he's such a nice guy, and you can't just have someone being nice for 90 minutes. That's not an interesting film. So we had to take him, on an emotional little journey. And we did that by tempting him with the grotty excitements that show business can sometimes, the fame, the glamour, and he's doing it all with the best of intentions, but unfortunately it leads him down a sort of tricky path, so we'll see if he can pull himself out of it.
And with regards to lending your voice to such an iconic character, did you have to try and kind of get it as close as you could to the original, or did you want to bring something fresh to that?
Yeah, no, I definitely wanted it to be not a million miles away from the original, because I think children would be like, that's not Postman Pat, if I came on and did it in a West Indian accent, for example. So yeah, it's me getting as close to that voice, but again, bringing a bit of myself, because that's why they hired me, for a bit of what I do. So yeah, a combination of the two. And
with regard to the technique, there's a lot of repetition with providing a voice to voiceover work. So how was that? Was that fun, or was it actually quite hard work?
Well, it's interesting. It's unlike almost any other acting job you do. I went into the studio on my own before anyone else had recorded any of their stuff, before there was any pictures, any animation had been done, and I recorded my entire part in 2 days on my own, without having met any of the other actors, no idea how they were going to play the scenes. So it's really unusual, because acting is normally a team sport, and this felt like, working on my own, really. And you rely heavily on the director, who's got a whole film in his head, and he knows how the scenes are going to play out, and it's it's all credit to him that it's an amazing job they've done.
We'd like to build a publicity campaign all around you.
We've even got a telly-programme. I'm just an ordinary postman.
Oh, Postman Pat, you must have grown up watching him.
I did, yeah. He was kind of my hero when I was a kid. It was my favourite show, and when I got the script, I didn't even read it. I just kind of said yes, because it is such an important part of my childhood.
And what was it that what was it as well about the story that you thought, this needs to be told?
I think just to see Pat on a big screen, and I think that's important, because lots of generations grew up with Pat, and even kind of like people in my generation will appreciate the nostalgia, I think, and it's it's going to be really fun, I think.
And I believe you got to sing in this as well. What was that like?
It was interesting, yeah. It was. I wanted to do it because I thought it would be a kind of a laugh, but it was quite serious. And then I found out Ronan Keating's singing for Pat. So I don't know. It sounds good. I've heard it. I actually surprised myself. They've done a lot of playing about with it, but it's I'm pleased.
And the part that you're playing, what was it that you liked about him?
I played Josh. He's kind of Pat's rival in the competition, and he was just really kind of nice, sweet guy. He's just naive, just sees the good in everyone, and I get to sing, which is something that attracts me to it.
When you're doing an animation as well, is it something that you can just be very playful with and just have fun and not take it too serious?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, that's it's so kind of relaxed. Opposed to a film, it kind of everything's happening at once. There's just the hair, makeup, costumes. It's just with this, you can just turn up in a little room and just say some lines. I mean, it's weird not having kind of the other actors around you, but it's fun.
You've got nothing to react against.
Exactly, yeah. You're just kind of doing it. So, but it's a different challenge, and it's fun.
Now that everyone loves Postman Pat, I replace every delivery man with the Patbot 3000.
The most important thing for a postman is speed, efficiency, ruling the world. Well, I was going to say being friendly.
Of course we were fans of the original Postman Pat. I've been a fan of the show since I was like my goodness, like when I was 10. Oh, I'm so old now.
It's all part of the kind of youth culture, isn't it? We've all grown up with it, so it's very precious to people. Have you been very conscious of keeping its integrity?
Oh, that was the most difficult part about making the film is, one, don't let the American director stick Hollywood all over it. Important. Stick to what Postman Pat is, which is this idealized life in Greendale, a place where we all went as children, and we want that place to be the same. So we fought very hard not to change the essential thing we all love about Pat, which is you get to go back to that world. But at the same time, I won't say modernized it, but we've made a feature film that's in stereo 3D, that's exciting, that has brilliant songs. You know, Ronan and Rupert did his own singing. Isn't that cool? He did great. It was amazing. He can sing too. And Ronan came in and did a beautiful ballad, and Stephen, who plays Postman Pat, it was unbelievably. And so this film that is still this safe, it's still Pat, has so much heart. And then it has excitement and a lot of laughs. And it's a good movie. We're very, very proud of it. We really are.
Well, saying about having heart, the whole theme of the film is very, very current with our relationship with reality TV as well, isn't it?
Well, I mean, that's the premise, is that he gets pulled into, not the X Factor for legal reasons, but he gets pulled into something like the X Factor, run by a character named Simon Cowbell, for legal reasons. And he gets pulled a little bit into that world, but it's still Pat. You know, Pat wants to go on his rounds, and he's, Jess is with him the whole time. But there's that tension as they try to pull him into a different world, and they replace him with a robot, and then things go crazy.
And with regards to the aesthetic of the film, because it's made in a very different way, you've gone for a digital. What was the reason behind?
Well, a very clear artistic decision here, which is they're going to be making more Postman Pat television series. It's going to go on for another 30 years. We don't want this to change that. So what we want to do is something different that's still Pat. So, if you like Postman Pat, the TV series, we want to make sure that when you pack up your family and go all the way down to the cinema, which we know is a trek sometimes, and the kids that can be a little tough. We want to make sure when you get there, you're seeing a movie that entertains everybody. Mom and dad are both having a good time. The kids are swept away. It feels cinematic. It feels like a movie. And then when you go home next week, there'll be another episode of Pat on, and you get to experience that. So the idea was to pay homage and stay very true to the heart of Pat, but at the same time make a cinematic experience. It's a 3D movie, so.
In 2014,
He's not acting like Pat.
I am Postman Pat. I am also Postman Pat.
you've got special deliveries.
You're providing the singing voice of
Yes.
Pat. So how did you become attached to the project?
Well, Mike Disa, the director, asked me to get involved. He said I was his first choice. I don't believe that, but he asked me anyway. I was delighted. It's such an honour to be involved in, such an important British cartoon that I grew up watching as a kid and loved so much.
And were you given much direction when you were asked to sing?
Singing-wise, no. I do a little cameo. I was given direction on that, but as the singing voice, they just wanted me to be me, so I was delighted.
And for you as a musician, how important is it that musicians do attach themselves to film projects? You've seen success yourself.
In this day and age, to get attached to a song attached to a film is everything. It's harder to get out there. It's harder to get your song on radio. It's harder. Movies, they're an incredible conduit for that.
Redirection.
I am going to stamp out that postman.
And first-class fun guaranteed.
Oh, muffins. I have not put on weight.
What an enchanting script to be a part of.
I know. It's funny because I didn't really see much of the script when I got involved, and there wasn't even really very much of the animation either. So it's going to be really interesting to see it up on the big screen, because I didn't really have a clue when we were doing it. I was just doing the voice, and they asked me to do it a few different ways, and sort of animation for you. That's how you sort of have to do it a little bit blindly.
I was going to say, kind of what direction were you given then in that respect? You then just have to kind of have your own picture.
Yeah, I think you do. They show you a little bit of where they want the character to go, and the dialogue sort of gives it away a little bit. But yeah, I think a little bit you do just have to go with that, because, all of this stuff is done afterwards.
And with respect to kind of your craft, how does that change when you're lending your voice to something rather than having to put a physical performance?
I think my favourite thing about doing something like an animation is actually being able to change my voice and just being able to turn up and work in anything really and not having to get dressed up is quite nice. It was nice for me to be able to change my voice up because normally you just hear me like this, so that was nice.
And the character that you're playing?
I'm playing a shopkeeper in Pat's village, of course, not stereotypical at all. But yeah, you'll be seeing me periodically, like just popping up throughout the movie. It's going to be interesting for me to see because I've not seen the whole thing at all, so I don't even know what anybody else has done.
Surprise packages.
Delivery, old woman! You will accept! You will accept!
Mrs. Postman Pat.
Yes, Mrs. Postman Pat. Yes, yeah.
What was it like voicing her character?
It was great fun, I have to tell you. It is such a wonderful relationship they have. It's so funny and sweet and full of love, and then of course she gets a little bit concerned that Pat's getting seduced by fame and he's not the Pat that, you know, she knows and loves, and without giving too much away, you know, he's doing something very sweet and lovely for her, which she doesn't realise. But
because the story is so current, isn't it, with our relationship or the public's relationship with reality TV.
Yeah.
I would think that's quite attracted to you as an actor as well.
Yes, I mean, you know, I grew up with Postman Pat, so it's really lovely to be part of this. But when I read it, I was really happy that they brought it so up to date and relevant, but also maintaining that thing that's so great about Postman Pat, that it's geared towards family and the kids, and it's just a really sweet story.
And for you, the process of lending your voice to a part, is that more liberating for you because you don't have to worry about cameras, etc.?
Yes, it is, and it's such a creative process because it's continually, the script is changing, and you know, you're having such a major input to it as well, so it's a real creative process between all of us, and it was such fun to do. I mean, it was just continual hysterics, you know, and you'll see when you see it, it is funny.
Stephen Mangan.
Ready to go, Jess?
Jim Broadbent.
Cat key, isn't it?
Rupert Grint.
Your cat's amazing.
And David Tennant.
Aye, well, may the best man win.
In the feel-good family adventure of the year, Postman Pat, the movie.
We did it, Jess.